Pterodactyl.
Creature like that, I would never die.
And this monster starts running right at me.
Annihilated by nuclear bombs.
Beast is not dead. I put 4 bullets into him.
Oh, you're crazy.
But I saw that monster too. All I want is for someone to believe me.
Contaminated.
Face. Horrible. Look like it would scare you to death.
All right, let's get to work.
All right. Before we get going, usually I do a different opener. Usually there's a different opener here. I know what you're used to, but I've got something special tonight. Chock full of evidence. Video evidence. And Hazel has no idea what we're doing.
I have no idea. No hint at all. I didn't peek either.
So usually by this point I have the script up on the screen and she's kind of cheating and looking ahead at the script. Well, I have the script minimized so she can't see it. And like there's a piece of me that wants to like hide it for the whole episode, but I really want this to I want a home run.
Do you want me to face this way?
No, it's fine. It's fine. No. We're about to go. Don't be. All right, so here, I got to set a small ground rule, small boundary. If you can, don't look at the script. Because I don't want you reading ahead, because I know you do. I know you do.
I do. I do read ahead.
I know you do. No cheating tonight, all right? I'm going to do this opener, but I'm going to, like, keep it super minimized so she can't read all of it. Don't go reading ahead, all right? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this one.
I'm making every effort to just like look everywhere else in the room right now.
You know, this kind of works out because I have the camera actually pushed over a little bit further than it needs to be. So this is all we're going to see is like a quarter of a full window anyway. So
the camera's
in the way. Yeah. All right, let's do the opener. Are you ready? Because I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right.
Get my deep voice on. The camera is already rolling when it happens. One of the investigators stands in the cramped living room of a small house in San Pedro, California, explaining to the documentary crew that so far nothing unusual has occurred. The room is quiet, no wind, no movement, just a low hum of the camera and the nervous shifting of people waiting for something that may never happen. Then a loud crack echoes from the kitchen. Everyone freezes. The camera swings toward the doorway, just as a small object slides across the floor. Slow at first, then suddenly faster. Moving several feet into the center of the room with no one anywhere near it. The investigator stops mid-sentence. Someone behind the camera whispers, "Did you see that?" The object rocks once and comes to a stop. No wires, no hands, no explanation. And the camera never stops recording. Tonight, on Beyond the Shadows podcast. Alright, get ready, because this is the first time she's even hearing the title. We are investigating the San Pedro Poltergeist, the ghost that almost killed an investigator.
Dun dun dun.
Yes. That's right. The San Pedro Poltergeist, the ghost that almost killed an investigator. This is true. This is true.
I already have a theory. I already have a theory of what it actually was.
Correct.
No.
This is our favorite thing. Oh. Psyduck.
Yes.
Say-ay-ay. Yeah. So, have you ever heard of the San Pedro Poltergeist?
No, I have not.
So this has been a recurrence. This original case dates back to 1983. I believe it's 83. It might be somewhere in the early 80s. I forget the exact year, but as of late, this case has grown has gathered some serious attention. It's been reinvestigated on one of my favorite podcasts. Also, there's an entire video documentary documenting a huge investigation, a full crew of people.
Like Blair Witch style, but for realsies.
Yeah, almost. We're going to see quite a bit of video evidence tonight. We got quite a bit of video evidence. I was informed that this video is copyrighted technically, but it is allowed to be used. So push comes to shove, YouTube might mute some of our stuff, but if that's the case, it's fine. It's totally fine.
It's in the best interest of the public.
Yeah.
You know, I think you chose this route because you know that I do tend to lean a little bit more towards believing in like hauntings and poltergeists and ghosts and that kind of thing. But
so let me preamble. I do need to look up something right quick. So in 1982, there was a film that came out called The Entity. And oh geez, yeah, we're not going to read all of that. Essentially, it's a poltergeist story that quote unquote really happened. You know, this was the 80s, so we were like waist deep in, you know, the poltergeist. What was that one where the girl's sitting in front of the TV and it's so static? She turns around, they were here.
was that literally just like called the poltergeist? Was that what it was called? Or was
no, it was not.
Oh
the
no!
poltergeist.
Oh no! It wasn't. What was it? Yeah.
Oh, it was the poltergeist.
It was. I was right, and then you made me. Double think myself.
So then it was it yeah, and then the original poltergeist was the one
Worlds of Confusion is here.
Hey. And then it was the wait, so okay, not the poltergeist.
Hey guys.
How you doing, Worlds? I'm glad you're here, buddy. We're discussing
Good to see you as always.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you're here.
Great to see you.
Okay, so I'm having brain fart. What's the one where the girl turns her head around?
Ooh, it just started hailing here.
Exorcist?
Oh.
Ooh, just started hailing. Ooh.
Are you in the US, Confusion?
The Exorcist.
That's it, The Exorcist. That's what I'm getting mixed up here. I'm getting the two mixed up. The Exorcist and the Poltergeist.
Nope, UK.
UK. Oh, we are, in the next 12 hours, we are expecting some severe weather.
So let's just quickly tell you what happened to us last week. So on Thursday,
Poltergeist is a great film.
It is.
Yes. On Thursday, we woke up and it was 72 degrees and I went for a walk and I had to I was uncomfortable in a hoodie, you know? And then by the end of the day, it was 39 degrees and snowing. So
we got down lower. It was
was
over at the shop. It was like 36, but we were getting snow over there.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It was very cool. We experienced all 4 seasons in one day.
We did.
Holy hell.
Yeah. The day before was 81 degrees. And then the next day we were just shy of freezing and snowing. 12 hours later.
That's cray-cray.
This weather's getting out of hand. It really is. So what I was getting at was at this point in time, we were waist deep in poltergeist movies, haunting movies. Everybody wanted more of the poltergeist. Everybody wanted more of, I forgot it again, The Exorcist. So it was this time that like paranormal investigations, specifically catering towards hauntings, anything that could be related to poltergeist activity, was very, very, very popular. This is where it was in the early 80s, 1981. Ed and Lorraine Warden actually coined the term paranormal investigator in 1981. They had been doing investigations for the years before that. They'd been doing stuff since the 60s, but they didn't call themselves paranormal investigators until 1981. So we are at the pinnacle of paranormal investigations. Everybody wanted to know more. Everybody wanted to see more. So this case, for some reason, just slipped through the cracks. And it's crazy because there's this huge documentary.
Big for our generation.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's this documentary that came out, and I brought up The Entity, which came out in 1982, which was another movie like The Poltergeist, like The Exorcist. The investigation of the actual events, the crew that did that investigation, that inspired the movie and the book The Entity, did the investigation we're going over tonight.
That's exciting.
So we're getting meta. We're doing an investigation on an investigation. But here's the kicker. So
Cool.
many things happened to these investigators.
By the way, what's on the hill in your I Want to Believe poster?
What's on the hill? Oh, it's just trees. We got weird light in here right now. It's usually not
Daylight
this bright.
savings time. Got
Sorry,
us.
I interrupted.
No, you're good. It's totally fine. You know me. Me and Hef were kindred spirits in the fact that we would rather sit and talk to people interacting with stream than we would actually play the games or do the investigation or whatever.
It's hard to time it sometimes.
Yeah, it's good. Don't worry about it. Say what you need to say, and if you walk on me, it's fine. I'll stop saying what I'm saying, and we'll talk about it.
We like the interaction.
We love it.
Dope.
Yeah. So yeah, usually this isn't so glary. We have a window right here, and daylight savings. It is bright daylight outside, and we have sunshine coming through here. I have colored lights going. I have a black light going. You can't even tell.
Interesting. I mean, this is also a window, but we fixed this one, but not that one.
Yeah, we're probably gonna need to cover this one.
Yeah.
Until summer, at midsummer, when it starts to time goes back again. But yeah, so the group that did the investigation for The Entity, which inspired the book and the movie The Entity, that group of paranormal investigators also did the investigation for the San Pedro Poltergeist, which is what we are covering tonight.
Okay, so this is like a missing puzzle piece in the 80s, 90s, babies horror puzzle.
So like I remember The Entity, and I loved it. I had it on VHS. You know, the Poltergeist, The Exorcist, The Entity was on standard rotation in my house. I loved horror movies as a kid. I loved, I told you a couple weeks ago about how I used to stay up all night listening to Coast AM. I've been a paranormal fan since I was 6. So ghost movies are right up my alley. I remember The Entity. I don't remember hearing about the San Pedro Poltergeist.
I definitely don't remember hearing about it.
So this is one of those weird cases where a crew from England came over to the United States. A crew from the UK came to the United States. So this happened a few times. There's been a few investigations. A lot of true crime stuff happens this way. People from the UK will come over here, do an investigation, and then go back, and then they'll release their video on like BBC. So this video that was released about the San Pedro Poltergeist is actually a BBC recording.
BBC is just far better television than we have in the United States.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to put it this way. This is why I like BBC. They did entire 4 radio productions of the entire Lord of the Rings series. They would never do that here. Never.
Yeah.
Nobody listens to the radio here like that.
Yeah.
But, like, talk about national pride. They are proud of Lord of the Rings over there, and they love, love, love the radio adaptation. I listen to it. It's like 4 hours per book. Wonderful, excellent audio mixing, and I feel like they pulled a lot of their cast from the sounds of the voice actors from the radio series. It was stellar. It was really stellar.
Yeah, the BBC is dope.
Yeah.
We'll have to listen to that sometime.
Yeah, I just finished them. Remember I told you a couple weeks ago, I was like, yeah, I'm going to start watching Lord of the Rings. I never did. I listened to the long form version.
TTS is louder than you guys.
Oh, is it really? Oh, geez, I see it now. Wow, why is that up so high? Give us some words there, would you?
Words?
No, TTS. Yeah, holy hell.
Testes.
That's about right. Well, that's about right. I was going through some of the older videos just last night when I was putting the script together for today, and there is some...
Much better.
Yes. Thank you so kindly. I appreciate that. I don't know how that got turned up so high. That's super weird. You know what? I'm just gonna lock that, so we don't have that problem again. Cool. So there's that. I didn't realize in season 2 that TTS was so quiet you could barely hear what was being said, and it sucks because like somebody clipped a bunch of stuff on Twitch. Not going to name names, but let's just say their name starts with an M and rhymes with Animu. Gave me a bunch of clips on Twitch, but like you couldn't hear TTS, so I'm like doing this incredible reaction to like this whisper in the background. I'm like, well, shit.
Hee our lovely Moni.
Yeah, Bonnie's great. So yeah, we've got a really interesting case. I went through and I listened to 2 or 3 different podcasts about this case over the last couple weeks, and then last night I stayed up till almost 1 o'clock watching this documentary and making notes.
I was completely asleep.
Yeah.
Completely asleep.
I would not let her even see me working on the script. I waited till she was asleep.
Although it's absolutely fair, and like it just shows how well you know me that you started when I was asleep because you knew that I would know nothing. There
was a couple times where I thought you were laying there looking, and I was like trying to lean forward and see if you were staring at the screen. Like, she's cheating. I really wanted this to be a surprise. I want this to be one of those moments where you do the Home Alone.
No, so I do that acupressure mat before I go to sleep for 20 minutes, and then I take the magnesium at night, and then I'm out for at least until around 1 o'clock in the morning, and then that's when I start waking up periodically.
I think it's probably around when I went to bed.
Yeah.
I had a very late night last night, chatting with Hef in Twitch while he was streaming, while doing the script for today, and then trying to edit videos at the same time. It was crazy. But yeah, so we're way off track right now. We don't usually sidebar like that. I'm glad you're here, Worlds. Glad you're here. 20 minutes in.
Now you know all kinds of things about us that you didn't really care to know, but
Yeah.
that's there.
It's totally fine. So yeah, if you're still sticking around 18 and a half minutes in, I'm sorry. We don't usually open like that, but we're glad to have some friends in chat tonight. So, I mean, again, this is part of our shtick, is we do a single take, no edits of the podcast, and it's easier for me, for my sanity, because I could not edit an episode and then produce it in the span of a week, because there's just too much content here. But let's move forward for our normal schedule.
It's a nice vibe.
It is, yeah, it is, because so many people clip and edit. For this, I feel like it's more natural and relaxed. And, because I'm human. I do this because I love
Chill
doing
and natural.
it. Yeah, exactly. I do this because I love it. And if it comes off as weird because I don't edit anything, I'm sorry. First and foremost, I make the podcast for myself. And that's the right mentality to have, if you ask me. I streamed for too many years trying to get viewers and not getting any, and being, downtrodden because I got no viewers. Whereas now I make content because it's what I want to do. My head and my heart's in the right place now, so. Cool. 20 minutes in now.
You got to do what you love the way you want to do it, and the right people will find you.
Exactly. You're like, look at Hef's community. Holy shit. Like, I was just listening to him talk to people in chat last night. And let me just say, as a streamer, like a small-time streamer compared to what he is, very desirable community. They're wonderful. Every single one of them are wonderful. They pop into chat. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'll play that game with you. Sure. He'll send them a link. They'll jump in voice chat, and they're just cool as a fan. They're really good. Everybody's really good people. Everybody.
Our people are good too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our people are in this room right now.
Yes. You're in this room with us.
Oh yeah, the community. Yeah. Sorry, I meant like
Hell
our
yeah.
people.
I'm so happy with my stream community. They're all awesome.
I need to catch more of yours. I honestly didn't even know that you streamed. You're in the UK, so I'm sure you're doing some weird hours, to be honest with you. Let's look. Let's see what you're doing. What do you do? Art? Oh, yeah. Okay. Art, just chatting.
I stream all sorts of nonsense.
I see a crafting table. All right. Drums. Okay. Cool.
Art and music and stupidity.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I used to do art years ago. Years ago? Has it been years?
It has been years. It has been years.
Cool.
I
Yeah.
used to write years ago.
Yeah, she's an author.
Maybe
Don't let her
we'll,
downplay it. She's a published author. She's
maybe
got books.
maybe one of these days we'll find our way back to these things that give us some creative joy other than.
Oh, this is it. This is all I need. This is all the time I have for anyway.
No, I want to go back and watch those later, so don't forget. Maybe this week we can go back and watch World's videos.
Okay. Yeah.
This week, because when we get home at night, we usually just kind of sit around and watch videos. So we
Yeah.
will be doing that this week.
Oh, show. What time do you usually stream Worlds?
Most days in the afternoonish.
Okay, so afternoon's your time. So that's middle of the night for us. I think, right?
Maybe. I'm not sure. We'll have to look and see.
I'll have to get the time conversion. What time is it there?
Go check out Worlds of Confusion at twitch.tv/Worlds of Confusion and go show them some love. Morning, surely.
Yeah.
You're like some hours behind.
Oh, behind, am I?
So it is 5 p.m.-ish here. I don't
It's
know.
9:20 p.m. here.
Oh, yeah, so we're 4 hours behind? Okay. So that would be morning for us.
Yeah.
Morning.
We could totally
Okay.
turn that on while we're getting ready in the mornings.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm 4 hours ahead of you.
That's early morning. We're up early anyway, so it's fine.
At like 5:30.
Sometimes sooner than that. Any hoots. Let's I noticed we got a couple people in YouTube. Welcome in, YouTubers. What's going on with Kick? Come on, Kick, do your thing.
YouTubers, this is not usually how it goes. We will jump back
Sometimes
into
I'm
it.
later.
That's
Okay.
fine. I'm pretty sure I'm subscribed, or I'm at least following. Yeah, I'm following. I'll turn on notifications. So when I get notification, I'll bring it up and we'll watch it. Cool. All right.
Ghosts.
That's right. Here we go. Y'all ready to get going? We got a couple little things left to do. We haven't even done our podcast
are you?
opener.
Who are you?
Jeez. Oh my gosh. Let me turn you down just a touch. All right, welcome everybody to Beyond the Shadows podcast. I am your host Victus,
And I'm Hazel.
and this is Beyond the Shadows podcast, where we record a live podcast, one take, no edits, and try to figure out if this week's case is truly paranormal or just bullshit. This week's case is the San Pedro Poltergeist, the ghost that almost killed an investigator. But before we get into tonight's case, let's take a quick look at a few of the strange stories making headlines this week in the world of paranormal. That's right, everybody. It's your favorite segment. Your second favorite segment, to be clear. This week's news in paranormal. Let's go. So, missing UFO insider sparks investigation. One of the stranger stories circulating right now involves the disappearance of retired Air Force Major General William Neil McCasland, a man rumored to have deep knowledge of classified UFO programs. McCasland vanished from his home in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the end of February, leaving behind his phone, personal belongings. Authorities have now asked hundreds of residents in the surrounding area to check their home security cameras for any signs of him. Investigators and journalists have described the disappearance as potentially significant because of his past work connected to advanced military technology and alleged UFO research. For now, officials say it remains a missing person case, but the timing has raised eyebrows among people following government disclosure debates. And a new UFO documentary fuels disclosure debate. Meanwhile, a documentary called The Age of Disclosure, I think I've seen it. I'm sure the people in my group are part of Hef's group. That is on Netflix, so check it out. Continue to stir up discussion in the UFO community. The film features interviews with former government officials and military personnel who claim the government has hidden information about extraterrestrial encounters for decades. Supporters say the film pushes disclosure conversation forward, while critics argue it relies heavily on eyewitness testimony without providing physical evidence. Either way, it shows the public interest in UFOs and what governments might know about them is not going away anytime soon. And finally, astronomers studying old sky survey photographs from the 1950s have revisited a strange set of unexplained objects that appeared in images taken by the Palomar Observatory. Some researchers have suggested the anomalies could represent transient objects that briefly appear in orbit. Though many scientists say the evidence is more likely explained by photographic artifacts or equipment issues, still the debate highlights how even decades-old data can reignite conversations about unidentified objects in the Earth's sky. And that is this week's News in Paranormal. Now, tonight's story takes us to a small house in San Pedro, California, where investigators set up cameras hoping to capture proof of a haunting. Some of them believe they did. Let's get into the San Pedro Poltergeist.
You know, last night while I was sleeping, I did wake up once or twice just, randomly, and I remember you switching the windows, but I feel like I remember you were on the phone with someone at some point.
I was on the phone. This is true. Let me hold on just a second. I need to get her name correct. I need her name. What's her name? Jackie Hernandez. That's her name. I was on the phone with Jackie Hernandez. She's really, really hard to nail down. All right. After this documentary aired, her life was a sideshow. It was like going to the circus. So I called her up. I finally got a hold of her. I got her on the phone through Facebook Messenger, and we did a little voice chat over Facebook Messenger, and I'm talking to her. I was like, Miss Hernandez, I'm about to do this investigation. I need to know, is this real? What do you think? What is your opinion on the matter? She said, look here. I'm scared. Like I was scared back then. You can investigate this if you want. But there's one thing I need to know from you. And I was like, what's that? She's like, it's serious. I'm dead serious. I said, what is it? And she turned off her camera. And you could hear, she got real close to the microphone. Oops, I accidentally muted. She got real close to the microphone. And she's like, hey, I gotta know. Before you do this investigation, what shirt are you wearing today? What shirt are you wearing today? All right, so if y'all haven't seen it already, I'm wearing my Halloween Hello Kitty shirt tonight. Yes, thank you, Worlds. I take so much joy in the preamble for the what shirt are you wearing today. This is actually a glow in the dark shirt, but you can't see it because it's not dark enough in here. I have a black light pointed at me right now, and you can't even see it. Oh, Halloween Hello Kitty.
I am sporting my Psyduck shirt, mostly because it has green on it, and St. Patrick's Day is coming. But then also because by wearing it, that means I got to bring my buddy with me, and there's a buddy up above us too, but you can't see it.
Oh,
I think
Psyduck.
he's out of the.
Psyduck is way up there. I don't think. No, we don't see the top shelf. There's one more shelf. One more shelf up there.
So,
Yeah.
yay!
Psyduck up at the top shelf. We love our decorations in here. We I
I'm
think
wearing a Stephen Rhodes.
Stephen Rhodes.
Ooh.
Stephen Rhodes. We love this. Is a big Stephen Rhodes
Sleep
house.
is my god. Bed is my church.
Hold on, let's see it. We did this last time. You said you were wearing a Stephen Rhodes shirt. Oh no, that's Esper Sleep Paralysis Demon. I clicked on the wrong one.
That one is wild.
Oh, here it
though.
is. Here it is. Let me pop this out. We don't want your cookies.
Hello, everyone.
Flip!
Hi, Blip.
Sleep is my God. Bed is my church. Religious studies. That's cool. I like that one. I've actually never seen that one. That's cool.
At I3 lip.
Oh my God. Go away. I don't want your freaking pop-up. Get out of here. Oh, this is actually like a poster. Where'd it go? Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Stephen Rhodes, geez. He's stuck in the 70s. He can't let it go. And that's fine because it's a cool vibe. It really is a cool vibe.
Definitely.
Thank you for participating. You're the only one that participates in what shirt am I wearing today. I think we did have Shark participate once. And I have no idea what they were wearing. Well, welcome in, Blip. Hey, glad you're here, bud. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. You caught us just at the beginning. We we rambled for the first 30 minutes of the show. But we're about to get started. And I want to state again, Hazel has no idea what we're talking about except for what little bit I've told her for the evening so far.
Yeah, I do. I have no idea. No idea. I did not cheat while you were working on it last night. I have no idea. Really quickly, while you're opening that, I do have to say it's Ruth Bader Ginsburg's birthday, so I have my Ruth Bader
Aha,
Ginsburg.
great. Just
coffee
in
mug.
time then.
We got to put the camera or the cup in front of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's birthday today. So
Yeah, so I have my mug, my tea mug today.
I love that quote, by the way.
Yeah.
I glanced at it earlier. I've seen it 100 times, and then I glanced at it earlier. I was like, ooh, that's a good quote. I don't know why, but like I glanced at it first time when you first got it, and I was like, oh, it's a float like a butterfly, sting like a bee thing, whatever. And went on my way, and today was the first day. How long have you had that?
At least a couple years. I think my sister got it for me for Christmas
And I
a
just
couple years
finally
ago.
fully read it today. Yeah. Shame on me. And isn't that Nevertheless She Persisted? Isn't that another one of hers? Wait, what was that? Or is that Zelda Fitzgerald?
No, that's it's not Zelda, but it's a recent thing, but I don't think it's RPG. I can't remember, but it might be. I'm not sure. But I did have that mug as well.
Is it up here?
No,
was on
I
your
think
desk or
I think it's down. Oh, yeah, it is actually. Yeah, it's on my desk. But that might as well be a whole state away. We should get into the story.
Yes, I'm sorry. Sidebars all over the place. Welcome. I see we got a couple people in YouTube watching tonight. Thanks you YouTubers. Thanks worlds, thanks Blip for being here tonight. We're going to get into this now, and I'm going to do my best to kind of ease through this script so she does not cheat. If you see her looking over here somewhere, and so if you see her and it looks like she's reading, call her out. I don't want her cheating.
I was muted. Right now, this is me looking at where the script is. So
Call her out. We want no cheating. All right. Again, before we get started, you have no prior knowledge of the San Pedro Poltergeist.
none at all.
Good. So I do have a limited experience with this. Limited, but still a pretty fluid understanding. We are dealing with poltergeists. We are going to look at video evidence.
Not sure I know this one either.
Oh, it's a good one, Blip. You're going to love this. There's like there's a couple pieces of evidence that are a little funny. See, I'm over here cracking up because I know this evidence that I'm going to show you, and I feel like everyone's going to chuckle a little bit because some of the stuff is a little silly, and it makes you go, is it? But then you see the huge amount of evidence here. There's an entire hour-plus documentary about this case. I went through and I cherry-picked some parts that correlate to what we have in the script for tonight. So we are going to look at some video evidence. We're going to look at at least one photo that I can think of off the top of my head. I will say that this won't be for the faint of heart. If anybody has dealt with trauma in their past and is triggered easily, this might not be the episode for you, because there is audio in here of a woman absolutely freaking the fuck out. And you can tell she's scared. So if you're triggered easily by that, this probably isn't the episode for you. I am sorry, but sometimes we gotta shake it up a little bit to really get the full spectrum of what this investigation pertains. Because like I said, some of it is a little silly, but when you hear the emotion in this woman's voice when she's telling how scared she is, you get it. It clicks. All right. So it's going to be a little intense. So I hope y'all are ready. We're going to go into a little bit of the initial case first. And then we're going to dive a little heavy into the investigators that were there, because we have tons of video evidence about that. And then we're going to finish up with the actual case itself. So the investigation that had done the documentary is just kind of like a cherry on top, but there is an underlying case here, and there's more involved than just what the paranormal investigators found and put in their documentary. So there's the S word. My drink. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Because I'm ready. Let's get into it, everybody. This is season 3, episode 11 of Beyond the Shadows podcast. This is episode, what did I say, 91?
You did say 91.
91. We're almost at 100 episodes. We're so close. Episode 91, season 3, episode 11, Beyond the Shadows podcast, the San Pedro Poltergeist, the ghost that almost killed an investigator. Let's get into Act 1, everybody. Act 1, a house on West 14th Street. Don't go reading. I see you. I'm watching you. San Pedro sits on the southern edge of Los Angeles, where the city meets the Pacific. Let me stretch this out a little. It's a port town, ships moving in and out. You don't have to look at the ground. Jeez. Ships moving in. Cranes lining the harbor. Fogs rolling in from the water in the evenings. The neighborhood's there, quiet for the most part. Small houses packed close together. Narrow streets, chain link fences, kids riding bikes in the afternoons. It's not the kind of place people usually associate with violent hauntings or paranormal chaos. Most nights, the loudest thing you'll hear is a truck heading towards the docks. But in 1989, one of those quiet streets became the center of a story that still circulates in paranormal circles today. The house itself wasn't unusual. It was a small, single-story home on West 14th Street, wood frame construction, narrow hallway, modest living room, kitchen toward the back, the kind of place where thousands of families had lived over the years. If you walked past it during the day, nothing about it would catch your attention. But inside that house, things were starting to happen. At first, the disturbances were small, the kind of things people usually brush off. A noise in the wall late at night, a faint knocking where someone in the house that couldn't have quite located. The family living there, who had only been in the house a short time, noticed the sounds but assumed it was something normal. Houses make noise. Pipes shift, wood expands and contracts. Anyone who lived in an older home knows how many strange sounds can come from perfectly ordinary causes. But the noises didn't stop. The knocking started happening more frequently. Sometimes it sounded like someone tapping on the walls. Other times it was louder. 3 or 4 sharp bangs that seemed to come from inside the house itself. The family would stop what they were doing and look at each other, trying to figure out where the sound came from. They checked the obvious things first: plumbing, heating vents, the attic, crawl space beneath the house. Nothing explained it. Then things began to escalate. One afternoon, while people were sitting in the living room, a small object on the table suddenly slid several inches across the surface. Not tipped over, not nudged by someone passing by, it simply moved. At first there was confusion. Someone might have bumped the table. Maybe the floor wasn't level. Maybe you'd been sitting close to the edge and it finally shifted. But then it happened again. And this time everyone saw it. The object moved across the table slowly, just a few inches, but clearly enough that nobody in the room could pretend they hadn't seen it. That moment changed the way the family looked at the house. And up until that point, they'd been dealing with strange noises. Annoying, maybe unsettling, but still explainable. Once objects began to move, the situation crossed into something else entirely. Over the next several days, the disturbances increased. Items would fall off the shelves without being touched. Cabinets in the kitchen were sometimes found open even though nobody remembered opening them. Small household objects, things like utensils or tools, would occasionally disappear and then reappear later somewhere else in the house. At this stage, the events were still sporadic. There were quiet periods when nothing happened at all, hours where the house seemed completely normal. But then the activity would start again, and it started to get more aggressive. One evening, a small decorative object was thrown from a shelf across the room. Not dropped, not thrown, or not dropped, but thrown. It struck the wall hard enough to leave a mark in the paint, and everyone in the room heard it happen, and when they turned towards the shelf, nobody was anywhere near it. The room was silent. No one said anything at first, but when people finally spoke, the explanation sounded less confident than before. Maybe it had fallen. Maybe it had been sitting closer to the edge than they realized. Maybe someone had bumped the wall. The truth was obvious to everyone in the room. None of those explanations made sense. And over the next week, the incidents began to happen more frequently, and word started spreading outside the house. Neighbors began hearing about disturbances. Some of them came over to see what was going on for themselves. Most expected to find nothing more than misunderstanding or an overactive imagination. Instead, several visitors reportedly witnessed objects move while they were in the house. And that's when the situation began attracting attention from beyond the neighborhood. Because once multiple witnesses claimed to see something unusual happening inside a home, especially objects moving without explanation, the story have a way of spreading. And by the time investigators heard about what was happening in that small San Pedro house, the disturbances were no longer subtle. Objects weren't just sliding across tables anymore. They were being thrown. Oops, didn't mean to play that one. Oh my gosh, I'm hitting all these buttons. Jeez. Wow. Didn't mean to do any of that. I meant to... Just like we do at the end of every act. Okay, so that's Act 1. What are you thinking so far?
So, I don't think I've ever really told you the depth of this situation, but the house I lived in before I met you in Southwest Virginia. So there were times when I would be alone in that house and I would hear like what sounded like a man clearing his throat, and there was no one else around, like no neighboring houses. And then one day I opened up the linen closet in the hallway, and the words "they kill" were carved on the inside of the wooden door of that closet. Now that house was old, like people had lived in it before me. So I'm pretty sure like that was pretty early on in living there. It had been there when we bought the house, and I just didn't notice. But I definitely can get behind some of this stuff.
At Beyond the Shadows podcast, top viewers streamboo.com.
Oh, geez, a bot.
Boo.
Already, boo.
Boo.
Boo this person. Don't come in here trying to sell your shit.
While you're getting rid of the riffraff there.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I definitely can get behind some of this stuff. I'm not going to say definitively yet whether I believe it or not, but I could believe it. So this will be my Achilles heel, I believe, probably, as the skeptic in the relationship.
When I left my student halls, I wrote, "I'm under the bed," on the ceiling in glow-in-the-dark chalk.
I love it. You know what really probably happened? It was probably like the teenage child of the couple who lived there who carved that in there, and they were probably playing a trick on me, and it worked.
So
'Cause
I
let
can
me tell you,
imagine
it
a
freaked me
preview
out.
a tenant scratching in "they kill."
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree. Probably could have happened that way, but it was enough to freak me out, considering I would often hear noises that sounded suspicious when I would think I was, alone in the house. But again, old house, probably just things moving around, but I definitely can lean a little bit towards
Oh
believing.
yeah, it would still freak me out.
Well, I've never had like writing on a wall in any place I've moved into. But I used to frequent, I used to work at a haunted house years ago, many, many years ago, right out of high school. I volunteered for it the first couple of years I did it. And then he's like, you're doing great. I want to pay you to keep coming back because I developed a character for the haunted house. And they loved it. And I would go into like random parts of the haunted house and write stuff on the wall in blacklight ink. But I would use, what's that System of a Down song? I listen to it all the damn time. I should know what the hell it's called. I can only think of like the bridge. Oh, please. What? Whoa.
You'd write on the walls in chop suey.
It wasn't chop suey. Oh, jeez. Was it the prison song? Jeez. Shame on me. I should know this. Oh, there it was. Sugar. It was Sugar from System of a Down. So on the bridge, he says, I sit in my desolate room. No lights. No music. Wait. Just anger. Yeah. I sit in my desolate room. No lights. No music. Just anger. I killed everyone. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I killed everyone. I'm away forever, but I'm feeling better. And I wrote those random snips of that bridge all over parts of the haunted house on the walls. And like, dude's like, the owner of the place was like, are you okay? I was like, no, it's a song. It's a song. And like one day he's like, you're going to have to show me the song because this is just weird. People are asking about it. I'm like, no. It's just lyrics from a song. And yeah, he was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's spooky. Cool. Keep doing it. You got more lyrics. Do it. Just let me know the lyrics, please. But no, it's anybody that's a fan of System of a Down knows Sugar. That was their first real big song. I would love to do the screaming part right into the microphone, but I don't think my lungs are up for it today. Oh, cool. We got a bot on Kick too, trying to sell us viewers. Not gonna happen. How weird. We got a bot on Kick at the same time we got a bot on Twitch.
The bots love us.
The bots love us, yeah. Us low number streamers. Anywhoots, so yeah, are you feeling one way or another, any kind of way about the house so far?
I'm feeling like I could be persuaded that this is real. I am not feeling immediately like, no, this is not real. But that's just, again, I'm anxious to see the evidence.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. I will say one strange phenomenon that I ran into last night and part of today is regular viewers of the podcast know that I love to pull up Google Maps, and I like to pull up give me the address of this place because I want to see where it's at, because a lot of things happening around it could play a factor in a lot of different things. Like when it comes to an investigation, one of the big things we like to ask is who's making money off of this. So we will look and say, like the Rendlesham Forest UFO event. I went to Rendlesham Forest on Google Maps and I was like, Rendlesham Forest UFO Cafe. And what do you know? There was a cafe nearby that was themed UFOs. Somebody's making money off of this. The whole town was making money off of this one UFO case. So when I Googled this in Google Maps, this house no longer exists. They tore it down after this lady moved out. And the lot where it is supposed to be has been kind of absorbed by the two houses around it.
In making money off of it.
Oh, Heffies. Whoa. Hef's here, everybody.
Hello.
Hef's making money off of it. Yeah, it was really strange that... So this lady had this stuff happen. They tear down her house after this event happened, and the neighbors absorbed half of it each. It's really strange because here's the address, and you go to look it up. So usually when you're going down a residential street in the U.S. anyway, odd numbers will be on one side and even numbers will be on the other. And so it was like 1531. So I'm going down the one side with the uneven numbers, and it just straight up skipped 1531. I don't remember if that was the exact address or not, but it was the number before, a weird extension of both neighbors' yards, and then the number that came after. So really weird. I think this is the first time we've come across this in an investigation, that they just knocked the house down.
Maybe it was like the two neighbors who were conspiring so they could get more.
Well, I don't know if you know about this part of California. Very, very close neighbors. Like, you think our neighbor's close over here? No, there's like 4 feet in between house to house.
Yeah, I've seen where you can just like literally reach out window.
100% with Hazel.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem so far-fetched, but it's an awful lot of work just to get an extra half a lot. But in this part of California, very, 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 very dense. That little bit of extra yard probably is a nice breathing room. Like,
Yeah.
You know how small our yard is. This is gigantic compared to the yards in California.
Oh yeah. I've seen.
They
pictures
probably
of
made
those.
all the noises in a pack to drive them out and tank the house price.
Exactly.
Maybe so. You know what? We'll buy the house. We'll take the lot too, and me and that guy, we'll just split it. Yeah. So we're looking at basic preamble into a pretty generic haunting investigation. Nothing.
I shoot a gun outside every 45 minutes to keep the taxes down.
You should come live in our neighborhood, Dan. You'll fit right in. Jeez. Ugh. Yeah, it's been better. It's better now. It's been worse. I mean,
It is better now. Yeah. Than it was 3 years ago.
It was rough when we first moved in here. We had one event the first winter after moving into this house that so many gunshots were fired that it blew out the microphone on our doorbell. And I had to replace the doorbell. So we got like 4 or 5 shots. And then after that, the shots on the recording were like... But didn't I count it like 112 shots were
So
fired?
I have to say, at that time you were working nights, and I was at home by myself.
Yeah.
And it was a group of people, and this was not just like we're having fun. Like this was a violent act. Like cops came, all this stuff, and I have to say it was the middle of the night, and I rolled out of bed and I hit the floor and I pulled the pets down and laid on top of them. Like I was like I knew what to do, but you know. We made it, but that hasn't happened in 4 years.
It was wild.
It's been 3.5 years.
So like 6-7 houses down from us, like 100-something shots were fired at the house. You could go down there today and still see all the bullet holes in this guy's house. He just doesn't care. It was wild.
Woo! A sidebar.
Yeah.
Another sidebar.
Sidebar. Okay, so we're dealing with basic non-human gunshots hauntings. Pretty normal. So we're going to get into Act 2 now, and this is where the house turns violent. You already get into Act 2? Merca! Yeah.
Bless you.
That was sneezes. I muted for everybody's ears. Oh gosh. Yeah, America. Yeah, or you can go to McDonald's and get you a couple cheeseburgers and a Colt 45. Not the drink, but the weapon as a side. Everybody's got a gun here. Yeah. America. Anywho, so let's get into Act 2, everybody. Act 2, when the house turns violent.
Sorry, you are an even easier target these days.
No, it's good. It's totally good.
I mean, Worlds is absolutely correct on that.
Absolutely. It's fine. We'll play our wonderful track, very graciously donated by Poke Your Eyes Out Radio. If you enjoy this, go check him out.
Hugs to you.
Thank you kindly. So by the time word spread beyond the neighborhood, the disturbances inside the house had moved well past strange noises and sliding objects. What the family was experiencing now looked a lot more like what paranormal researchers classify as a poltergeist outbreak. Sudden chaotic bursts of physical activity centered inside a home. And according to the people living there, the house was becoming unpredictable. Some days nothing happened at all. The rooms would stay quiet for hours. Sometimes even days. And during those calm periods, it was easy to convince yourself the whole thing had been exaggerated. Maybe the earlier incidents were really accidents. Maybe the stress had made everything seem more dramatic than it actually was. Then the activity would start again. And when it did, it came without warning. Visitors inside the house began reporting loud knocking noises that seemed to come from inside the walls. Sometimes the noise echoed through the hallway, 3 or 4 sharp impacts in rapid succession, like someone hitting the structure of the house with a hammer. People would search the rooms trying to find the source, but the sound never seemed to come from a single location. It moved. One moment it was behind the kitchen wall, the next it was somewhere near the ceiling in the living room. And then objects began leaving shelves. At first it was small things, kitchen utensils, lightweight decorations, items that could almost be explained away as falling, but witnesses later described objects launching outward, crossing several feet of open space before hitting the floor or striking a wall. The difference between something falling and something being thrown is obvious when you see it. Several people inside the house said that that's exactly what they saw. One moment a room would be calm, the next an object would suddenly shoot across the space as if someone had tossed it. And the strange part was that nobody was close enough to have done it. And as the events continued, more people began visiting the house to see what was happening for themselves. Neighbors, friends, curious onlookers. Some came expecting to catch someone staging a trick. Others simply wanted to see the stories if the stories were true. But not everyone witnessed something unusual. But enough people claimed to see objects move that the reputation of the house began to spread through San Pedro. And eventually, the disturbances became severe enough that the family contacted local authorities. Police officers responding to the calls initially treated the situation like any other domestic disturbance report. When officers arrive at a house where people claim objects are flying around, the first assumption isn't paranormal activity. They're looking for signs of vandalism, pranks, or someone inside the house causing trouble. But according to later reports from investigators, at least one responding officer witnessed something unusual. While standing inside the house, an object reportedly moved across the room without anyone touching it. Now, police officers aren't in the business of confirming hauntings. Most of the time, they document what they see and move on. But even the possibility that law enforcement had observed something strange added credibility to the story circulating around the neighborhood. By this point, disturbances were happening often enough that people inside the house began anticipating them. You could feel the tension in the rooms. Conversations would pause whenever a noise came from the hallway. Everyone started watching the shelves and tables, waiting to see if something would move again. Then the activity took another step forward. Instead of small objects sliding or falling, heavier objects began shifting. Chairs moved slightly across the floor. Cabinets opened on their own. Doors slammed shut with enough force to echo through the house. Some witnesses described the activity as sudden bursts of violence, short periods where several things would happen almost back to back. A loud bang from the wall, something fall in another room, then a piece of furniture scraping across the floor. Moments like that turn curiosity into fear. Because when objects start flying across the room, it stops being a mystery and starts becoming dangerous. By the end of these early disturbances, the family living inside the house had reached a point where they felt like they needed outside help. The events weren't slowing down. If anything, they seemed to be escalating. And when stories about violent poltergeist activity began circulating, there's one group of people who always show up eventually. Paranormal investigators. And within a short time, several researchers and filmmakers heard of the San Pedro house and the disturbances happening inside. What they were hearing sounded exactly like the kind of case investigators dreamed about. Physical activity that could potentially be documented. So they did what investigators always do in situations like this. They brought cameras, because if the disturbances inside that house were real, they intended to capture it on film.
I always think it's hilarious that people think they're going to capture a lot of this stuff on film. Like, I know you're going to show us some evidence tonight, but okay, if ghosts are real, I really don't think that their prerogative is like, let me be on film, you know, let me be on camera. I don't think they have that same you know, as humans, a lot of people maybe just want attention, want money. So ghosts are no longer driven by those things. And it would take away kind of the whole point of what the ghost is maybe trying to get across. I just don't really think this ghost is going to be like, hey, let me be on Real World. I'll date myself a little bit.
It reminds me of this meme I saw. It was really popular last year. Like, it said, if you could see ghosts, like, completely, it wouldn't be scary at all. And it showed, like, a guy standing there holding a door and moving it open. And then, like, he's going to a cup and, like, sliding it sideways. And then he's just looking at the people.
So, basically what I get is ghost cats. They're the same. They're the same.
Yeah. So it's developing. Act 2, we're developing into something a little more physical. The escalation is here, and the escalation is important because this is the groundwork for traditional poltergeist activity. Every poltergeist movie starts out the same way. A little bit of activity, usually knocking. And for those that don't know, this is a wonderful piece of trivia. When you hear the knockings in poltergeists and hauntings, it's usually in sets of 3. You know why they do sets of 3?
Well, 3 is a holy number as well. So
it's the intention is to mock the Holy
Just
Trinity.
like comedy.
Yeah, just like The intention is to mock the Holy Trinity.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, there are lots of places in the Bible that reference like not following or listening to spirits and things like that too. So that would make sense to me that would be a and I'll have to go back and find the verses, but like
Right.
just recently I was talking about those with someone. So it's really easy to understand why that would be a
They say the intention is to mock the Holy Trinity. So sometimes you get 3 or 4. So they say 3 is the holy number, 4 is an unholy number, and then 6 is supposed to be an inversion of the Holy Trinity. Go forward and then back. So 6. So 3, 4, 6 are usually what you hear with knocks.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So before we do Act 3, I need to run downstairs.
So do I.
Okay.
We're going to take a quick bathroom break, and we're going to dive off into Act 3, where we start getting into the video evidence. So here we go, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Pregnancy test? What? PT. Pterodactyl. Oh, is this it? Oh, no, that's different.
Pterodactyl.
Like, it's driving me crazy. This isn't quite right. Jack and Chuck declined, not because they feared failure, but because they distrusted the public spectacle already beginning around the form around their story. Skeptics predictably descended quickly. Some pointed out inconsistencies in campfire timelines. Others suggested that the men had fabricated the entire event after the fact, crafting a false memory years later. The most common debunking theory was one of skeptics love most is sleep paralysis and suggestibility. Critics claimed the men may have shared a vivid dream, later enhanced through leading questions during hypnosis. For a century, the greater powers have been searching for ways to tighten that control, to harden nerves, erase fears, stretch endurance, and if they could, override the human will. Zombies haunt that question like a shadow. Not in the Hollywood kind of gnawing on flesh, but the Haitian terror reframed. A body without autonomy. A human that moves, obeys, and persists even long after the soul has been sidelined. In the 1950s and 60s, the CIA ran a cluster of projects under the banner MKUltra, which you can go back and let me see. I actually have a list. Let me give you the exact episode. Where did my episode list go to? Oh, geez, it must be my other account. It is not my other account. Watching the lake fall away beneath him, the air felt thick like syrup. Inside the ship, Jack described the same metallic chamber, but his experience focused on one being that stood out taller than the rest, darker in complexion, with more defined ridges along its head. Jack referred to this one as the leader. Quote, "It looked at me, not like the others. It judged me." This being placed its fingers long and jointless on Jack's temples, and immediately Jack felt as though his entire life was being downloaded. Childhood memories, thoughts, secrets. He was naked in more than body. Quote, "I kept hearing this phrase, 'You are not complete, you are not ready.'" Jack began hyperventilating under aggression. The session had to be paused. He emerged shaking and crying, repeated, "The real..." All right, we've returned. Hello, friends.
Hello.
All right, so we're going to get off in Act 3. The investigators and the cameras. So we're going to do like last week, and I think we're going to start making this kind of a normal thing that as the information comes up that we have evidence for, I'm going to stop and we're going to look at the evidence. So we've got a lot here. It might be a little scatterbrained at first. Don't look over here. I gotta look at the evidence window.
I peeked. I saw like a random face.
Yeah, well, it's just faces, but the names. I don't want you to see the names. Okay. All right. I think we're ready. Is everybody ready to get into Act 3 and start to see some of this evidence? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I was born ready.
Are you ready to have your mind blown and to be your eyes opened to the world of the paranormal and ghostly happenings?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
My eyes are already huge.
Yes, they are. I love it. All right, then. Let's get into Act 3, everybody. Act 3, the investigators and the cameras. So once word of the disturbances began circulating outside San Pedro, the house stopped being just a private family problem. It had turned into something else, something that investigators believed might actually be documented. Poltergeist cases are notoriously difficult to study. Most of the activity happens suddenly without warning, and almost never when a professional investigators are present. By the time researchers arrive, the disturbances have often stopped. Stories are left behind, but the physical evidence rarely is. The situation in San Pedro appeared different. According to the people living in the house, the disturbances were happening frequently, sometimes several times a day, objects moving, furniture shifting, loud knocks were echoing through the walls, and if that level of activity continued while investigators were present, it could become one of the rare cases where the phenomena might actually be captured on camera. That possibility attracted a small team of paranormal investigators and filmmakers who decided to examine the case themselves. Their goal wasn't just to observe what was happening, they wanted to document it. The investigators brought cameras into the house and began to set up equipment throughout the rooms where most of the disturbances were being reported. Video cameras were positioned to watch tables, shelves, doorways, areas where objects had previously been seen moving. Microphones were used to capture audio, especially the knocking sounds people said they heard had been inside the walls. And from the beginning, the investigators knew the biggest challenge would be separating real activity from possible trickery. Any case involving moving objects invites skepticism. The simplest explanation is always that someone in the room is causing the movement. So the investigators tried to control the environment as much as possible. The rooms were observed carefully. Camera angles were chosen to eliminate blind spots where someone could secretly manipulate objects. The investigators watched the behavior of people inside the house, looking for signs that anyone might be staging the disturbances. At first, nothing happened. Then the team spent long stretches of time inside the house with their equipment running, documenting normal activity. Interviews with the family were conducted on camera, allowing them to describe the disturbances in their own words. They talked about the knocking sounds, the objects flying across the room, and the growing sense that something inside the house was responsible. For investigators used to chasing paranormal claims, the quiet periods weren't unusual. Most cases involve hours of waiting for something that may never happen. Then the atmosphere inside the house began to change. And during one of the recorded sessions, investigators were standing in the living room discussing the earlier disturbances when the sudden sound echoed from another part of the house. It was loud enough that everyone in the room heard it clearly, a sharp impact that sounded like something hitting the floor. The cameras were already running. The crew quickly moved toward the source of the noise. When they reached the area, they found an object on the floor that had previously been sitting on a nearby surface. According to those present, nobody had been close enough to move it. And moments like that were exactly what the investigators had hoped to capture. The cameras kept recording, and over the next several sessions, the investigators documented a series of strange incidents. Objects appeared to shift or fall when no one was touching them. Knocking sounds were picked up on audio equipment, and in some cases, investigators described hearing movements in rooms where nobody was standing. Well, one of the most dramatic moments reportedly occurred during an exploration of the house's attic. The attic was a cramped space above the main part of the house, accessible through a small opening. It was dark, dusty, and filled with the kind of clutter that collects in storage spaces over the years. Investigators suspected that if someone inside the house were secretly staging disturbances, the attic might prove a hidden vantage point. So one of the cameramen climbed up to examine it. The camera remained running as he moved through the narrow space, filming the beams and insulation, describing what he saw. The attic appeared empty. No one else was present. No hidden wires or mechanisms were visible. I'm reading ahead. I'm trying to get this. Okay, good. Making sure this was in the right order, because there's a few events that happened in the attic. And then something unexpected happened. According to the investigator's account, the cameraman suddenly felt a violent pull on the camera hanging from his neck. The strap tightened sharply as if someone had grabbed it and yanked downward. There was no one else in the attic. The cameraman reportedly lost control of the equipment as it was pulled away from him. The camera fell to the floor and struck part of the attic structure, damaging it. When the team reviewed what had happened, they concluded that the force applied to the camera was stronger than anything that could have happened accidentally. To them, the moment suggested something inside the house had interacted directly with the equipment. The investigators continued filming. By the time the investigation concluded, they believed that they had documented enough unusual events to support the idea that something genuinely unexplained had occurred inside the San Pedro house. The footage they captured would later be used in the documentary examining the case. The film intended to show the disturbances exactly as the investigators experienced them. But once the footage was released, the San Pedro case entered a new phase. Because not everyone who watched the recordings believed they were witnessed a real haunting. So, that's the end of Act 3. Do you want to see the actual video of what happened with the camera being yanked out of the guy's hand?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Because so, let me explain one little thing before we get into it.
Talking about equipment interference, does the camera keep glitching for anyone else?
Yes, it's my fucking camera. I'm not sure what the problem is. I actually spent like 30, 45 minutes messing with settings before the stream started tonight. I don't know why it's doing it. I'm about to factory reset this damn camera.
It's a nice little feature for this episode, but I kept like catching a glimpse of myself when I would look over and then try to look back and not look at the script, and my eyes would get kind of like stuck, so it looks like I am possessed, but I'm really not. I mean, I guess that is what a possessed person would probably say, but I don't know.
So at first, I actually reached out to GoPro because I'm using a GoPro, a 13 Black, one of the new ones, and they said, oh, it's a low light issue. Well, as we know, there's not low light in here right now. We could turn the lights on in here and it would not be any brighter than it is now.
It is kind of fitting.
Yeah, it works, right? Like, it's a feature, not a bug, right? Sorry, I'm figuring it out. Something about, like, color matching between what the camera outputs and what OBS wants to use. I've already matched like the frame rate, the resolution settings. It's some color setting is messing up something. I'm not sure what it is. I need to go out, I need to set it up outside in like excellent light just to fully eliminate the low light issue. I don't think it's a low light issue because there's always plenty of light in here, especially now. We've got damn sunlight rolling through the window. Yeah, sorry.
It's fine, just in case you weren't aware.
Yes, thank you so much. It's very distracting for me because I'm looking here trying to read, and right there is OBS next to it, and the purple flash drives me up the fucking walls. All right. So let's look at some evidence.
To be clear, though, if that is the poltergeist, like this is the extent of what you are allowed to do.
Yes.
I value my sleep. What little of it I get, I'm not interested in other activity.
Okay, hold on. I need to move some stuff on my desk. I made a note so I wouldn't forget to check the audio. Because we had that problem last time.
What do you
Okay. Yep. VLC's picking up audio. So this is a scene from the documentary. What they do is, and this poor cameraman, every podcast I've listened to that talks about this case, they talk about this poor cameraman because everything bad that happens in this case happens to the cameraman. They convince a cameraman to go in the attic, and they do a technique that I've never seen before, but makes good sense. All right, so we watched a lot of stuff that has to do with paranormal investigations. We've seen stuff like Spirit Box. We've seen the Estes method. There's 1,000 different things you can do for investigations. So apparently, peak 1989, the best way to get something on film was to stand with your back to what you're trying to capture and shoot the film over your shoulder backward. So apparently this cameraman goes in the attic with a camera, a film camera, and oh, nuts. I wanted to bring a camera up for this. Can you talk to them for just a minute while I run downstairs and grab a camera? Oh, there it goes. The spooky. Yeah. Hold on. She's going to keep you guys company while I run downstairs and grab a camera because
I have to stand up first
I have
'cause she
physical
can't
things I want to show you. Don't pay attention to my...
Okay, so I'm staring at this video screen, which is really exciting because you guys haven't seen it yet. But I was born in '89, and so the glasses this guy is wearing are like peak '90s glasses. There are pictures of me as a child wearing a family member's glasses that look just like this, which are very exciting. So Victus is going downstairs and should be back in a moment. You're stuck with a boring half. What do
Adorable.
We'll try to find it, and Victus could share it with you sometime. So what do you guys think so far? Do you feel like it's haunting, not haunting? What do we think? Oh, I hear him coming up the stairs. Oh, he's coming. Here
Have
he
you judged
comes.
a case paranormal yet?
No, not yet, friends. I'm just kind of getting what you think.
I am
so
a full
far.
skeptic. But I love it all.
While you were gone, I just asked them what they think so far, if it's normal or paranormal. But it threw them off because they thought maybe we were already doing the final part, but
Oh, no.
we're not.
We have
I'm
not
just
judged.
I'm just kind of like gathering the
this be the
temperature
one?
of the room.
This could be the one. It's very
This
possible. So
could
I
be the
wanted
one.
to... So anybody that's been in here for any length of time knows that I'm a photography guy. I always have been. I've got 100 plus cameras, all in all. I was able to piece together the exact same camera watching their documentary last night. So this is a 1989 Olympus. This is a very standard lens.
Hi all.
Monty, hey! So this is a very standard lens. This is about what you would get in 1989 from a high-end camera shop. So this has got an extra battery pack on the bottom. It's a little heavier.
She's here.
She's here, everybody. This is almost exactly what they're using in this episode, or in this investigation.
Hello, sweet Moni.
This has a lens on it. This has no film in it, I'm pretty sure anyway. I haven't opened
Classic camera.
Okay, no film. Good deal. I wanted to bring this up because it does. I really wanted to drive home some bits of information.
Mama Worldsy.
So let's go ahead. I'm going to fade out this music. I'm going to set the camera to the side. I'm going to fade out this music. We're going to go full screen. And let me shift the VLC capture in front of the camera stuff.
So I did go ahead and like tell them a little bit about this guy's glasses because they are full 90s glasses.
Yes, they are very 90s. So this was 1989. So yeah, this is I may or may not have had glasses like this at one point in time or another. So what they're going to do is they're going to go in the attic, and their cameraman's going to take some pictures, and he's going to explain what happened. So it wasn't just his camera being pulled away from him. There's more to it. You guys ready? You guys ready for this?
I'm ready.
It's going to be good. I do have the volume at max, so be aware, headphone users. I give you a second to turn your headphones down if you need to. Here we go.
Larry Brooks asked him what he would think about going back up into the attic and taking shots with his camera over his shoulder.
I started clicking off some photos. It was dark, totally dark. I fired first, I fired second, and just as I fired into the third frame, something pulled this camera from my hand.
I love the music, by the way. It was 1989. This was peak suspense music.
EEW.
That's hilarious.
The practical effects is great. Let me go back 2 seconds so you can really see that camera flying out of his hand.
Awesome.
To be clear, at the bottom right corner, you can't see it completely, but it says recreation.
Pulled this camera from my hand. I go back up there with lights this time, with a flashlight. I don't see my camera in the position that I was. I look back in the corner. All of a sudden, I see just the lens sitting there. In the corner, in the other corner of the attic, was the body of the camera lying upside down with the lens port laying straight down into a box, just an old crate that was in the attic. Now talk about your first fright right there. I knew there had to be something. There had to be something in that attic.
All right. Let's break it down. Do we need to see that one more time? Let everybody see the full thing?
We could. I mean, you want to know what I wouldn't be doing? Going back up in
Going
that
back
attic.
in the attic. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it one more time. It's only a minute long. Here we go.
Larry Brooks asked him what he would think about going back up into the attic and taking shots with his camera over his shoulder.
I started clicking off some photos. It was dark, totally dark. I fired first, I fired second, and just as I fired into the third frame, something pulled this camera from my hand. I go back up there with lights this time, with a flashlight. I don't see my camera in the position that I was. I look back in the corner. All of a sudden, I see just the lens sitting there. In the corner, in the other corner of the attic, was the body of the camera lying upside down with the lens port laying straight down into a box, just an old crate that was in the attic. Now talk about your first fright right there. I knew there had to be something. There had to be something in that attic.
All right. So can I see your camera that you brought upstairs?
Yeah, absolutely. Here.
So
This one's a little different. This one doesn't have the flash on top like they were using.
okay. So weight wise though, we think it's about the same.
This is exactly the same.
So if I have this over my shoulder and I'm holding it, I feel like he was holding it one-handed.
So he would have been holding it probably in his left hand because the shutter is here.
Okay.
So he would have had to have held it over his.
Most people have fully
Yeah,
adult
probably holding it
hands.
like
I
this.
think mine stopped growing when I was like 12. But so if you're holding it over your shoulder, right, to do this, but let's say you're like me and you're shaking, because I shake pretty much just my constant state anyway, like a little chihuahua. But if I'm shaking anyway because I'm upstairs in an attic where I'm scared, is it possible that I could?
Hold on. You trust me?
Well, yes.
Keep your arm in that position.
Okay.
Let go of the camera. Just let go of it. It's okay. Let go.
I did.
Let it fall.
I don't want to let it fall.
Let it
I don't
fall.
want to let it fall to the floor.
Let it fall.
No, I'm not going
It's
to
not
do
gonna-
that.
No. Go back. Go back. Trust me.
Why don't you do it?
Okay, look. Because I know what was going to happen. So your arms are a little shorter. You let go of the camera. These
Okay.
cameras came with a strap attached.
Yeah, but did his have one?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody used the strap. Anybody that in 1989, this was $1,000 camera.
I was just thinking in terms of
But you see,
if you're shaking all over the place.
this is why I wanted
you
you to
just
just drop the
drop.
camera, because the way your arm was positioned right out of the gate, you held it and it fell over your elbow naturally. So if it were to get pulled away, the strap would have caught you. Food for thought.
It makes sense.
Okay.
It makes sense.
So let's break it down. You felt how heavy this thing is. This is not a light camera. This is not light. This is 4 pounds, maybe a little less. Very heavy camera. This battery attachment here, let me peel this thing off. This thing is stacked full of AA batteries. There's 6 AA batteries just in this. Everybody that did flash photography like they did would have a battery pack, because you need the battery pack to run flash. Also, I didn't bring it up because I didn't want to break down 2 of the other cameras. The flash adds an extra pound. A very heavy camera. There is no way, even if it slipped, it would go flying.
Presumably the strap would catch it from ghostly yoinks too.
Correct. But here's the kicker for me. You can't just take the lens off. It doesn't just come off. You wanna pull on that? See if you can get the lens to come off at all. Like, twist it. Do whatever you need to do. Try to take the lens off. It doesn't just come
No,
off.
It's not moving.
There's a button. You actually have to press a button to release. You actually gotta, right here, the little button. You gotta press and hold the button and then twist it. Oh, I picked the one that's bound up, didn't I? Oh, please. It's dark in here. It's getting dark in here. There we go. I'm sorry. This one has 2 buttons, one on each side. See the little... So there's a button here, and there's a button on the bottom side.
I can confirm there are 2 buttons.
So look, when you press the 2 buttons together... Oh, you can't really... Oh, black. But when you press the 2 buttons together, there's a black piece that slides over to unlock the lens. I used to ride a scooter everywhere, and I carried this camera with me because I used to do photography as a hobby. I have dropped this camera doing 40 miles an hour, and the lens never came off. This mechanism, this is aluminum. The mechanism on the back of the lens is aluminum. An impact, even from being pulled away from you, even being dropped at 40 miles an hour, will not separate this lens. This lens does not just fall off. It has to be intentionally removed. If there's a button, you have to, at least one button, you have to press at least one button, rotate a quarter turn counterclockwise, and then you can remove the lens. There's intelligence and intention there.
I get that. I get that.
So what he's saying is the camera was snatched out of his hand. He freaked out, went downstairs. He comes back up. The camera was removed from the lens. The body was in a crate in the corner, and the lens was in the opposite corner of the room.
So let's see that that recreation of it of the. I really like this phrasing from Blip, the ghostly yoink.
The ghostly yoink.
Yes.
What he would think about going back up into the attic and taking shots with his camera over his shoulder.
I started clicking off some photos. It was dark, totally dark. I fired first, I fired second, and just as I fired into the third frame, something pulled this camera from my hands. I go back up there with lights this time, with a flashlight.
A little jump.
I don't see my camera in the position that I
Where
was.
is the
I look
strap,
back
though?
in the corner.
That's
All
my
of a sudden,
Where's what?
Where the strap.
I see just the lens
Okay, in the
sitting
recreation,
there.
he had
In
the
the
strap.
corner, in the other
Okay.
corner of the attic
But
was the box.
This is a good question that Blip posed here. Like if the strap keeps it on your shoulder, if you drop it from that direction, if the ghost yanks it in that direction, why does the strap not keep it on your shoulder?
It's a good question. It's a very
You
valid
need that
question.
sound effect for the stream.
You think I'm playing? I'm gonna do it. I will do it. I just got to figure out how to isolate it. But no, it's a good question. You bring up a good question, and
I can't take credit for it though.
what?
I can't take credit for that. It was all Blip.
no,
Not everyone uses a strap every time.
well, in 1989, if you spent $900 on a camera, you're gonna use the damn strap. Any photographer worth their salt is gonna use their strap. I use a strap. This is why when you find vintage cameras, they have straps, because everybody left the strap on them. I'm telling you this because I'm trying to be open to other things other than
I am
It
going
was-
to be open to other things
Yeah.
too.
I'm giving all of the
I love it.
evidence.
I've known many a person who wouldn't use the strap despite either cost cause they're cocky.
Yeah, they are. They're finicky. I'm not gonna lie.
My WLW ass is cackling.
Like I've got another camera
Not
over
everyone
there.
is as careful.
I've got another camera in the corner of my 1957 Argus Super 75. It has a strap. All of my cameras have straps, except for like my weird instant cameras. Yeah, like the weird Kodaks. Anywho, I'm letting you guys know because this is a very valid piece of information. If I were in a place that was precarious outside of everything I could see, what I would do, I'd wrap that strap around my hand. And then I would, because I don't want to drop the damn thing. I mean, I'm poor. So I don't want to.
I think then your arm's probably going with the camera if it
That's what I'm
goes
saying.
to-
So it's a weird gray area, right? I'm just saying because I did a number of paranormal investigations and I was the camera guy. And when I shot film, which I did for the group that I ran with, when I shot film, I always used a strap because I didn't want to drop the damn thing. It's just a little thing I wanted to throw out there. It seemed a little weird to me that somebody would have climbed into an attic, shot film over their shoulder, and didn't use the strap. It just seems weird to me. But you're right. Confusion, Worlds of Confusion. There are some people that don't use them. I mean, let me put it this way. If the guy that ran the group bought the camera for the cameraman doesn't care about the camera because he doesn't own it. If it gets damaged, the guy that runs the group is just going to buy another one. So he's less likely to use a camera. Or you're like less likely to use a strap. But in my experience, the strap is almost always there. It's a little weird. Next time I tell you to drop the camera, just drop the camera. That would have been like a, wait, the sound effect right here. That would have been a great, oh, moment.
Knowing my luck, though, like, the strap would not have caught, and then it would have broken into, like, 5 different pieces.
No, that's the
And-
thing. Is
Either way, it doesn't change if it was yoinked or dropped TBH.
Yeah, it's just,
That's true.
it
That's
seems
true.
weird to me that he didn't use a strap. That's all I'm getting at. But let's be honest. Do you want to yank this out of my hands to see how much force it feels like it needs to take? Like, you want me to turn around and you want to yank it?
No, not really.
Okay, so you want me to yank it then?
No.
No,
No, because we're going to break it.
we're not going to break it. This is aluminum.
No. But I think Blip is right. Like, it doesn't really make a difference whether it was yanked or dropped, really, because it ends up in 2 separate places across the room.
Exactly. Across the room.
So, from each other.
So I gave you 2 inverted pieces of evidence. I gave you one piece of evidence that said the strap should have been in the way, and the other piece of evidence said only an intelligence could have disassembled the camera. It was very strange.
Hey,
Very strange.
you have a second piece of evidence?
We have more
sir?
than a second piece of evidence. We have many other pieces of evidence.
This
Yeah.
is how TTS says aluminium.
Aluminium. That's right. Everybody says it different, I swear. So we're going to get into Act 4. Let me close this. Everybody's done looking at the attic. Also, it's weird that the body of the camera was face up in a crate in the corner. I find it
I
hard.
just wanted to check.
Okay, thanks, Monty. I appreciate that. Round of applause for Manamu. Okay, we're gonna go through Act 4, and I think some of the evidence that I have here for video evidence isn't in the investigation. But if it's not, I'm going to. There you go, world. I'm gonna take a few seconds out of the after Act 4 to explain a couple little things. I'm gonna minimize that so you don't see
Tomato.
Do you have another one? What's another one? Potato. Potato? What's another one that we all know? Potato. Oh no, it's this one, right?
Potatoes, precious. What's potatoes, huh? Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Potato.
Oh, well,
Instead of potato.
potato. Okay, let's get into Act 4. Thanks, Bonnie. I appreciate that. Let's get into Act 4, and as the evidence comes up, I'm gonna leave my evidence window open.
Now I really
You
have
can
to.
look
I
at
have to look like.
You can look at the pictures. Don't read the text.
Okay.
Because they are named. Because I didn't want to lose track of which ones they were. So we're going to get into Act 4. The evidence on film. This is Act 4, everybody. Act 4. So once the investigation wrapped and the documentary footage began circulating, the San Pedro case changed from a local mystery into something the wider paranormal community started debating. And up until that point, most of the evidence existed in the form of witness statements. The family had described objects flying across the room. Neighbors claimed they had seen strange happenings inside the house, and even a few investigators believed they had witnessed movement themselves. But witness testimony only goes so far. The real question was whether the camera footage captured during the investigation actually showed something unexplained. The documentary presented several incidents that investigators believe supported the idea of a genuine poltergeist haunting. One of the most talked about sequences involved moving objects inside the house while the cameras were running. In one segment, investigators are seen standing in a room discussing the disturbances when something suddenly falls from a surface nearby. The object drops sharply to the floor, startling the people present. The moment doesn't look dramatic at first glance. No one screams, Nothing explodes across the room, but the investigators point out something important about the scene. Nobody was close enough to touch the object, and according to them, the cameras had been positioned specifically to watch the area where the movement occurred. The implication was simple. If no one touched it, what made it move? Another piece of footage focused on knocking sounds that witnesses had been reporting since the beginning of the case. During several recorded sessions inside the house, investigators captured sharp banging noises that seemed to echo from inside the walls. The sounds were loud enough to be picked up clearly by microphones, and at one point investigators even attempted to respond to the noises, knocking back against the walls in an effort to see whether the sounds would be repeated or would repeat or react, and sometimes they did. The paranormal researchers, this kind of interaction suggested something intelligent might be responsible for the disturbances. It echoed patterns seen in famous poltergeist cases where knocking sounds appeared to respond to questions or commands. But the most dramatic piece of evidence remained the incident in the attic. This is incident in the attic number 2, I'm pretty sure. Bear with me. So when the documentary described the cameraman exploring the attic space, investigators presented the damaged camera as proof of something physical had interacted with him. And according to their account, the force that pulled the camera from his neck couldn't be explained by gravity or accident. They believed the event showed that whatever was causing the disturbances had the ability to physically manipulate objects and possibly even target people. For believers in the paranormal, the footage seemed compelling. They argued that the investigators had taken reasonable steps to control the environment. The cameras were rolling, multiple witnesses were present, and the disturbances appeared to occur spontaneously when the equipment was running. To them, the San Pedro house looked like a textbook example of poltergeist activity, a phenomenon that researchers have been documenting for more than a century. But outside that paranormal community, the reaction was very different. Skeptics began examining the footage carefully. They pointed out that the movements captured on camera were subtle. Objects didn't fly dramatically across the room the way witnesses sometimes described them. Instead, most incidents involved things falling or shifting slightly. A shelf that isn't level, a vibration in the floor, someone brushing past a piece of furniture just out of frame. Even a loose object positioned at the edge of a surface can slide or fall naturally. Then there's a question that appears in almost every poltergeist case. Could someone inside the house have staged the activity? Skeptics argue that even with cameras running, it's extremely difficult to control every possible angle in the room. If someone wanted to manipulate objects when the investigators weren't looking directly at them, it might not be as difficult as it seemed. The attic incident also raised questions. Critics pointed out that investigators relied heavily on the cameraman's description of what happened, without clear footage showing the moment the camera was pulled away. It was impossible to rule out the possibility that the equipment had simply slipped from their hands or become tangled during the movement in the cramped space. In other words, the evidence wasn't definitive, it was suggestive. And that's often where paranormal cases live, in the space outside, or space between something that looks strange and something that can be proven beyond doubt. Well, let me stop here. Sidebar. There's something not in the script here. So after this initial time that they went to the house, investigators gathered a little bit for the documentary. They leave. And in the middle of the night, 2 days after they leave, the owner of the house calls the people that did the investigation.
And he says, "What shirt are you wearing today?" No, I'm
What shirt are you wearing
kidding.
today? Yeah, there was a phone call. What shirt are you wearing today? No, we have the phone call. We have a piece of the phone call. You want to hear this? Because it didn't just stop there. It seemed like whatever was there was feeding off the investigators being there, and once they left, it escalated to the point where it made the woman want to bring the investigators back. So let's go ahead and listen to this phone call. I'm not going to show the video to try to keep copyright stuff from happening. Here we go. Headphone alert, people. We are full volume here, so Be aware.
I heard it breathe last night. Awesome.
You heard it breathe again, huh?
When I heard that, Barry, I said, I am not staying in this house, and I'm not going to sleep in this house. I can tell you that, because I wouldn't want to meet up with what made that noise. What's going to happen next? What's it going to do to me? You know? It's getting very hard to even be here. I feel like just packing up the kids and going to Texas right now. I'm really scared.
Oh, we were muted. That's just part one of the phone call. I clipped out this next piece for those of you that are sensitive to strong emotions. Might not enjoy this next one so much. But let's take a listen to this.
A frantic, and I do mean frantic, call from Jackie Hernandez. We listened to it on the machine, and she is frightened out of her mind.
I'm not staying here, Barry. I'm out of here. I gotta get out of here. I can't stay here.
Objects were being thrown across the room. The kids' toys were being levitated off the ground. I was just ready to just jump in the truck and just drive until it ran out of gas, because I had no money at that time. I just wanted to get as far away from the house as possible.
Lost her. Jackie?
I'm going to switch over to the full screen part here. So if those of you who can't hear clearly what's happening, we do have subtitles on screen here. Check this out.
Lost her. Jackie? Yeah, I heard it flicker. Lost the line. Jackie, you cut the line.
The phone conversation was interrupted. The call was interrupted by it was disconnected.
Jackie? Jackie? We were talking. Hello? You just cut the line. What happened?
Are you guys there? Are you guys there?
Yeah, yeah. You know, she won't get any sleep. We better go down and get her. Jackie?
What?
We're going to come down and get you. Okay?
Okay.
All right, we're coming right now.
Okay, hurry, please. I don't know how long I can stay here.
We're leaving right now.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, so she calls the investigators because she has nobody else to call at this point, because the activity in the house escalated. So they drive down from where they are, which was like an hour and some change away, and they meet up with her. Let me get this next piece of evidence correct. And she starts talking about how there was ooze coming out of the ceiling. All right? Right? Ooze. All right? So you roll your eyes.
No, but it's not. I mean, like, okay. So if I were there by myself, or if I were in our house by myself and saw ooze coming out of the ceiling, that would be highly traumatic. And I'm not laughing because of that. What I'm laughing at is I'm just thinking about all the movies from the 80s and the 90s with the ooze coming out of the wall, and how, like, you know, watching those movies now versus watching them back then, how ridiculous that is. And then I'm thinking, okay, is this just something we've pulled from seeing it on TV? Like, it's the ooze coming out of the wall.
But I have video evidence.
Oh no, yes, video evidence. Oh no.
All right, you ready? You ready to see the ooze?
I am so ready to see the ooze.
So at
Please let it look like flubber. I really need
it
it
will
to
not look like
Flubber.
it's not like Ghostbusters. We don't have pink ooze coming out of the walls. So at this point, she's got her neighbors over there because she's scared to be by herself with her kids.
Okay, let me just. Okay, we're serious again. All right.
So at this point, we
Ooze
have
coming
the
off.
original crew from the documentary, plus a neighbor, I think 2 neighbors, her, the lady that owns the house, and her kids. She has like a young, like a preteen child that never shows up in the documentary, but then she also has an infant.
Okay.
Let's look at the ooze video.
It is 3:16 a.m. No, 4:16 a.m.
Everyone just left except us in the house. Things are starting to drip out of the cabinets. Nobody believes us, but it's happening, right, Jeff?
There it is.
There it is, right there. It's dripping.
Unbelievable.
The first night we were at the Hernandez house, Jackie told us about some viscous liquid dripping and oozing from various parts of the house. But we took some of the, I guess, liquid ooze, for lack of a better term, back to a lab to have it analyzed. Upon analysis, it was determined this was human blood plasma with a high copper and iodine content, and it was from male blood.
It's dripping.
It's pooling up over this. Right down here in the corner, Jeff, Bob.
They tried to figure out a logical solution for, you know, why it was happening, or possibly coming from a pipe, or what it could possibly be coming from other than just the walls. But there was no logical explanation.
If I go before you, this is the way I will haunt you.
Fair enough. Okay. I'll take that. All right. So let me
Okay,
gather
all right.
some more
I know.
evidence here.
I keep. This is just how I am as a human being, and I need to back off a second, because this. I mean, this would be like if you were experiencing this and you had 2 children and you had no finances to be able to get out of this situation. Like, I can imagine this would be, even if you're by yourself, even if you don't have children, like, this would be absolutely horrific. I cannot imagine dealing with that and then not having a way out of it. That would be awful.
Okay. So there's more. So the events kept happening that night. So what do? They send the cameraman back into the attic.
I tried to be serious. I'm sorry. I think no. The answer is no.
So my knee-jerk reaction is they send the cameraman back into the attic because they want to see. So when I see that, the stuff coming from the ceiling dripping, you know what it reminds me of? Our crappy house in Arkansas when the roof leaked.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too when I saw it. Was like, oh, I've seen this before.
So I feel like that's why they sent the guy up in the attic again. So they send him back up into the attic. And this is where shit starts to get really, really wild. Like, worse than the first time they go in the attic. Are you guys ready? Everybody in chat, get ready for this. Because this is the craziest piece of evidence I have for tonight. This shit is either going to make you crack up or lose sleep tonight. Do you want me to explain it, or do you just want to see the video?
I think we need to just see the video, but I will tell you, if I lose sleep tonight, I'm waking you up too.
Okay, fair enough. Let's go. Let me cue up the video.
I'm not going to be awake by myself.
Don't look at the name of the video. Don't look. Okay. So they send. You can look now. It's fine. The name of the video faded. They send the cameraman and another investigator back up into the attic, and this is what happens.
This is the conversation before it starts. The guy in the striped shirt is saying, "What is your life insurance policy like?" What is happening?
Okay. So seriously though, everybody pay attention, because this is either going to make or break the entire investigation. This is the piece of evidence I told you about at the beginning of the episode, where you might either be like, "Oh shit," or you're going to fall out of your chair laughing. Wait till you hear the sound this guy makes. I'm laughing because I think it's hilarious. However, we still have to come to a decision on whether we think this is paranormal or not. Are you ready for this absolutely off-the-wall piece of evidence?
I am so ready. Oh, we got somebody new in chat.
Somebody new in chat? Who was that? Sans Lob. Oh, no, I've seen that before. Seen it before. Welcome in. We're about to welcome in Saint. We're going to look at this absolutely wild piece of evidence. We have Psyduck here to keep us safe. Psychic protection tonight. We're going to look at this absolutely wild piece of evidence. I hope you guys are ready, because this is... I'm going to make sure the volume's up for this so you guys can hear the sound this guy makes. I'm laughing, but here we go. Are you ready? You guys in chat, are you guys ready? Because it's about to get wild. Here we go.
After Conrad shouted for them to come downstairs, Bame approached the opening. Wheatcraft, still near the center of the attic, prepared to take one step. It was the one step he'd never forget.
What's wrong? What happened? I told you, get down! Get down!
There was a momentary space in there where everything went black.
Jeff Wheatcraft was physically attacked in this attic on September 4th, 1989 by an invisible force that actually pulled him up onto a nail protruding from a rafter beam and actually tried to strangle him to death.
I don't remember being lifted up there, but I was actually hung. I was hung in an attic, and he helps me off of this nail.
He had a horrible time getting Jeff down from there, and those were very anxious moments that passed because we didn't know whether to go up there or what. We knew something happened. Jay, this isn't a good idea. This isn't a good idea. This isn't a good idea.
And what happened was I found Jeff was not standing upright. He was over like at a 45-degree angle, and he was entirely wrapped around one of the slats holding the roof up. I mean, his legs, he was like basically off the floor, because his legs were wrapped around this beam. It was like he was like wrapped around there holding onto this thing for dear life. The expression on his face, though, indicated almost like he didn't even know what was going on. That was like one thing that impressed me about the expression on his face. I mean, it was obviously he was like scared and knew something was happening, but it was like he didn't know what.
Let me break it down. A lot just happened. They send him back up into the attic. He goes up there. Gentleman in the glasses on the right here. This guy here on the right goes up there. And while he's up there, a cord gets wrapped around his neck. And he gets pulled upward.
Ooh, this is the case this photo is from.
Yes, Blip knows. He gets pulled upward, and he is literally hung from the joist in the ceiling by a cord around his neck on a nail. Listen to the sound this gentleman makes.
After Conrad shouted for them to come downstairs,
Looks like he found
Bame
his camera strap.
Yeah.
the opening.
Listen to the sound he makes.
Wheatcraft, still near the center of the attic, prepared to take one step. It was the one step he'd never forget.
I'm sorry. This is why I'm I'm laughing about this.
What's wrong? What happened?
So let me pause right here. So he literally gets a cord wrapped around his neck, and he starts struggling to trying to like. So I've gone through this scenario a few times in my head. When somebody gets pulled up by their neck, they start to scramble, grab a hold of anything that'll hold their weight, right? So the only thing at the time is this cross joist. So he wraps his legs around the joist to take the weight off of his neck. At this point, he's literally got a cord wrapped around his neck, and then it's tied off to a nail on the roof on the inside. Like it shows up here later. Here we go. Let's wait for this video to roll forward a little bit, and you'll see the nail. They zoom into the nail, classic 80s doing their thing. Gotta love his hair. This is the cameraman, by the way. The one we've had him in a few of these because he's the only one that had any real paranormal happenings. There's the nail. He was pulled up to the nail, and the other guy in the attic actually had to physically reach up, bend the nail down to get him off of it. And this house, judging by the way that the roof was built, is probably about as old as ours. So I know how strong those nails are. They're not anywhere near like the nails we have today. The nails we have today are soft, they're brittle. That's why we rebuild houses every 5 or 6 years. Older houses are the way to go because they were built with better quality materials. Back then, you could hang somebody by a nail. That was a solid steel nail. It was a very, very strong nail. And you could see where it's bent down at an angle where they actually had to pull them off of it. This is absolutely wild. Absolutely freaking wild. So there's a lot of us out there, I'm sure, that are looking at all of this and saying, no, he's just faking it, right? Well, let me show you. I have a screenshot. So they tried to talk to him after they pulled him down out of the attic, and he couldn't even talk. Like, he was gagging, throwing up in the sink because it had pulled on his neck so hard. Do you want to see how red his neck was? Here's this man's neck after being hung by his neck. Nobody would willingly do that to themselves unless they're into some weird stuff.
Well, that took a turn.
I mean, everyone's different. I'm not knocking everybody that's out there that's into autoerotic asphyxiation. Not my thing. I'm not into it. But that seems like an awful lot of damage done to somebody's neck.
Yeah,
And
it definitely does.
I didn't want to show this footage because it's literally him throwing up in a sink. Oh wow, we got another bot. Oh, we're so blessed.
Boo.
Let me. Oh wait, they're already. Oh wait, hold on. Not published to chat. Oh, nice. Let's go ahead and.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ban them right quick. Cool. That one didn't make it to chat. So yeah, this is. I didn't want to show this video because it was just him throwing up in the sink from having his neck being pulled on so much. This is a screenshot in between him retching into the sink, but it's very obvious he had some severe damage done to his neck here. But that's not it. I've got more evidence. More evidence. More. I know y'all are just freaking excited to hear all of everything going on. All right. So, what happens? At this point, the woman is panicking. The woman that owns the house. She takes her kids outside. She literally has her baby in a carrier on the porch and tells her kid, go sit in the car because we're leaving. We're leaving tonight. And at this point in the story, she literally said out loud, we're leaving. You can do what you want. Just don't do anything to my children. Something happened to the children.
Uh-oh. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, we've got one more piece of video evidence. You ready? Oh, wait, no, we've got a couple more pieces. There's a little bit more of the story. Let me show you what happened to one of her kids. Check this out. Pregnancy test? What? Wrong button. Here we go. This is the one. Oh, it's muted for some reason. Hold on. Let's start that back over.
Concern for the safety of her children prompted Jackie to move them onto the porch as well. Her 4-month-old daughter, Samantha, was photographed as you see her at approximately 1:40 a.m.
I had passed her a few times, and every time I looked down at both of the kids to make sure that they were okay, because I was very worried about them. And I had even asked or, told it and demanded that it stay away from my children in no uncertain terms. In fact, that same night in the bedroom, I said, just stay away from my kids.
And I went back into the kitchen to get something else. And when I came back out again, I looked down at her and she had a big red imprint or something right in the middle of her forehead.
I don't know. Look at what's on the baby. Come on, you guys. Let's go. Please, let's go. Please, let's go. Please, what happened to her? Oh, my God. It freaked me out because it came so close to my kids. And it was almost as if it was saying to me, hey, I can do what I want to. Don't tell me not to mess with your kids, because if I want to, I will.
Concern for the safety of her children prompted Jackie to move them onto the porch as well.
Hold on.
Her
Where's my
4-month-old
Where's my
daughter...
mouse? There we go. The ghost hit her with that Simba. All right. The ghost cracked open some exotic fruit from Africa, slapped it across his forehead. It's really weird, right? That after saying, don't mess with my kids, this happens.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is strange. Yeah. Just a red mark. I mean, yeah, I know that she didn't have a lot of financial options at the time, but at this point, I think it's time to get on up out of there.
So at this point, she does leave the house. This is left out of the script, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you because I've seen the documentary, so I know what happens. At this point, she decides, middle of the night, 3-something in the morning, fuck it, we're leaving. She packs up her kids and they go to a cousin's house in Texas, which is a good drive from California. And everything seemed fine at first.
But it follows them, doesn't it?
It follows them.
Yeah, I had a feeling it would.
And after being in their new house in Texas for 3 weeks, they start getting the same activity. And I wasn't able to find the phone call. I heard it in another podcast last week where she called the investigators and said, I don't know what to do. Please come help me. And they show up and they literally take her and all of her belongings, and she moves in with one of the investigators for a little while until she's able to save up money to get into a new house. After that, things calm down. Things start to go away. But the neighbors of her house in Texas actually saw something. All right. So when she's moving into the house in Texas, her neighbor was helping and her neighbor saw something. And I have a video clip for that. So let me cue up this video clip. All right. So I'm going to say this will really kind of give you an idea, dating of 1989. This guy goes to help this lady move her TV into her house.
Yeah, there's a wonderful denim backpack on the counter in the background of this that makes me think, yes, 1989, 100%.
This is 1989 in Texas. This is what people look like in the Deep South, in case y'all are wondering. They still look like this today.
Sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's very hot.
It's just a we'll say a cultural thing.
just wait till you see the TV. Wait till you see the TV. All right, we're going to play this last video clip, and then we're going to get into Act 5.
I uncovered it and moved it away from the side of the building. My wife was on the other side of the TV helping me push, and she said, there's a face in there. She was all animated, and I was directly opposite from her, and I saw it from a different angle, and I said, no, it's dirt, and I reached over to wipe it off, and then I saw the face.
While moving this widescreen television set, Jim and Janice Silkett
Oh my
became
goodness,
yet
that
two
is a
more.
1989
Look at this
television
TV.
set.
Look at this TV.
Oh my goodness. Yep, that's 100% a 1989 television
This
set.
is back in the day when you needed 4 people to move your TV.
That's why she didn't have any money.
Because she spent it all on the TV. That was like a $3,000 TV back in the day.
I mean,
Hot damn, what a beast.
yeah,
I know, right?
I mean, the ones that, you know, I remember having as a family that didn't have much money were like,
That's monstrous.
They were about, you know, roughly yay wide, sometimes maybe yay wide, right? But that was about the furthest they got, about that tall. Like, they were 100% a box, though, and had to be lifted by multiple
Yeah, that
people.
must have cost a fortune.
Yeah. I mean, good Lord, you could almost live in the shell of the TV. Like, that's what the Poltergeist did. It decided to live in there.
I tried to hit it with Google Lens to see what kind of TV that was, and it's like, this is an HVAC system. This is clearly an outdoor condensing unit. No, this is a vintage TV. It's vintage as it gets. I'm pretty sure this was a projector TV. So the back was probably wider than the front was. Yeah, let's listen to what else he's got to say.
Jim and Janice Silcott became yet two more witnesses. They say that the face of an old man suddenly appeared within the upper left corner of the screen. Yet the unit was unplugged.
The unit was unplugged. All right. So you've seen all my video evidence. Finally, you've seen it all. You've seen it all. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. Yep. Wait, what's this one? Wait, I don't think I showed this one.
When it got dark and I was alone, I still.
Oh, okay. So this was. I'm going to show you this. This is also another trigger warning in case somebody's got some trauma they don't want to deal with. This is when they came back to her house after the guy got hung in the attic. And you can see that she is clearly, very, very clearly, visibly, very, very upset.
When it got dark and I was alone, I still would have to wrestle with myself, and I was still going through the ordeal, I guess the after effects or whatever, of what had happened to me before. I was still traumatized, I guess you would say.
I can't stay here. I can't stay home tonight.
Maybe I can come over?
Huh?
Maybe I can come over?
Everybody's out. I'm looking around, all the lights are out, everybody's out.
You alright?
I'm so scared and I don't even know why.
Do you feel something?
Yes.
Powerful video. She was very, very upset. This was the point where she realized she needed to leave. This was after the weird Simba thing with their baby. This was directly before the moment she decided she needed to leave and go to Texas. And she did. She left. So now you've seen all the evidence. That is strong for evidence.
Yeah, so, I mean, my belief system, as we've talked about before, kind of includes some of this stuff, right? Just, like, personally. And so, I don't know. I mean, I'm inclined to lean towards maybe believing this one. I'm inclined to saying that it could be paranormal. I know. This might be the one. This might be the one you get me.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's been a long time. It's been, and I know exactly how long because I know how old I am. It's been 36 years since this happened. So it's hard to say what could have been created for entertainment purposes and what might have actually happened, but her fear seems real. And certainly, I don't know, the marks on the guy's neck are kind of, make you lean a little bit more towards the believing side. So, yeah, but
Okay.
I don't know. I wonder why it just stopped. Like, why it decided to stop following her. Did she get rid of the TV? Maybe it just wanted to live in the
Maybe it was
TV.
Yeah.
I don't know. But let's see what you got to say at the end. Let's see you wrap up Act 5. And
So
then
we're gonna wrap it up kind of quick. All right. Let me close this real quick. Let me just catch our time. 7:20. I can run through entirety of Act 5. So let's run through Act 5 right quick, everybody, and then we're gonna get down to conclusions. Now that you've all seen the evidence, this amazing evidence that I stayed up till 2 in the morning almost putting together.
You worked very hard.
I did work very hard.
You did a good job.
You know how hard it is to clip that stuff from an hour and some change long video?
I'm sure it was very difficult.
Very difficult.
I was doing some pretty hard work too while you were doing that.
You were sleeping. And you wonder why I'm so tired Sunday mornings. All right, well, let's get off into Act 5, everybody. Let's break this thing down and talk about when the activity stopped. This is Act 5, everybody. Act 5. So, like many alleged poltergeist outbreaks, the disturbances in San Pedro house did not continue indefinitely. For a period of time, the activity seemed constant. Objects moving, loud knocking sounds echoing through the walls, furniture shifting across the floor, investigators rushing to capture whatever they could on camera. Then gradually the incidents began to slow. There wasn't a single moment when everything stopped. Instead, the disturbances appeared to fade away the same way they started, sporadically, unpredictably, leaving long stretches of quiet between the strange events that once filled the house with tension. And eventually, the house returned to something resembling normal life. And that left everyone involved with the same question. What exactly had been happening inside the house in the first place? Within the paranormal research community, the San Pedro case began fitting into a pattern that had been observed in many poltergeist reports over the years. These disturbances often erupt suddenly, escalate rapidly, and then disappear just as mysteriously as they began. One explanation frequently proposed by researchers involves what they call a focus person, usually someone in the household experiencing intense emotional stress. In many documented cases, poltergeist activity appears to center around a particular individual, often a teenager. The theory suggests that subconscious psychokinetic energy, sometimes called RSPK, or recurrent spontaneous psychokinesis, might be responsible for objects moving or disturbances occurring. In other words, the phenomenon might not be a ghost or an external spirit at all. It could be something produced by a human mind under extreme stress. And supporters of that theory pointed out that the San Pedro disturbances seemed to follow several patterns common to poltergeist cases. The activity was chaotic. It involved physical movement of objects. It appeared to peak before fading away entirely. But even that explanation raises more questions than it answers. Psychokinesis has never been proven under controlled scientific conditions. While researchers have proposed the idea for decades, there is no clear evidence that human emotion can generate physical force strong enough to throw objects across a room. Which means the San Pedro case remains open to interpretation. Some investigators still believe that the disturbances represented genuine paranormal activity, an unseen force capable of manipulating objects and interacting with people inside the house. They point to the witnesses, the investigators who claim to observe movement themselves, and the footage captured during the documentary as reasons to keep the case in the category of unexplained phenomena. Others see something very different. Skeptics argue that every piece of evidence presented in the case can be explained by ordinary causes, misinterpretation, environmental factors, or even deliberate manipulation. From their perspective, the San Pedro haunting is less a supernatural mystery and more an example of how easily strange events inside a house can spiral into something far more dramatic once cameras and investigators are involved. And that's where the story ultimately settles. The San Pedro house still exists, which is a lie. We were not able to find it. People continue to live in the neighborhood. The street itself looks exactly the same as it did decades ago. Quiet, ordinary, and unremarkable. There are no ongoing reports of violent disturbances there today, but the footage captured during the investigation still circulates among paranormal researchers, and the case continues to appear in documentaries and discussions about poltergeist activity. Like here. Some viewers watch the recordings and see evidence of something that shouldn't be possible. Others watch the same footage and see nothing more than coincidence and suggestion. And that's the strange thing about the case like this. The camera was rolling, the investigators were present, people were watching closely, yet even with all of that, no one has ever been able to say with certainty what really happened inside that house in San Pedro, California. Tonight, we talked about a small house in San Pedro, a place that, for a short time in 1989, became the center of a mystery that investigators are still arguing about it decades later. Inside that house, witnesses claim objects moved on their own, loud knocking echoed through the walls, furniture shifted without anyone touching it. Paranormal investigators brought cameras, hoping to document whatever was happening there, and they left believing that they had captured something real. But even with cameras rolling and investigators present, the San Pedro case never gave us the kind of evidence that settles the debate. The footage shows strange moments, but not undeniable proof. The witness sounds sincere, but sincerity doesn't always equal accuracy. And the disturbances, like so many reported poltergeist outbreaks before it, eventually stopped and suddenly as they began. Some researchers believe that the house is a site of genuine paranormal activity, an unseen force capable of moving objects and interacting with the physical world. Others believe the entire case can be explained through stress, misinterpretation, or even deliberate manipulation. And somewhere between those two possibilities sits the truth. Whatever that truth may actually be. Because that's the frustrating thing about cases like this. The investigators were there. Cameras were running, people were watching closely, yet even now, no one can say with certainty what was really happening inside that small house on West 14th Street. And maybe that's why stories like this continue to follow us, not because we know the answer, but because we don't. All right. So let's hear it. What are you thinking? I want to hear you. I want to hear what you got to say first.
I want to hear what our friends in the chat have to say first.
All right. People in the chat, what do we got? We got 3 in Twitch, 1 in YouTube. Anybody in chat, you're welcome to voice up. Let's hear what you guys got to say about this investigation. Do you think this is really legitimately paranormal? Are we dealing with a real case of paranormal activity, or are we dealing with a real poltergeist here? Anybody in chat is welcome to voice up.
I mean, I call bullshit, but I always will.
Right. There's 1. We got 3 more people just sitting in chat. You're welcome to voice up. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I want you to go first.
Okay. Anybody in chat, anybody watching is welcome to voice their
It's
opinion.
a pretty good case as far as cases go.
It is a good case. We got lots of evidence, and it's going to be hard to follow this one. It really is. Because we don't usually have this volume of evidence. When I look at evidence, I look at the subtle things. The way a person's reacting. Case in point, that last video we watched before she left for Texas. She was very, very distraught. I've been there. I know exactly what that feels like. I read her body language. I see it. You know, I've been in the exact same position she was in. I've been in that exact same emotional state. And that's something you can't really fake. You know, how many hundreds of thousands of movies have you seen? And you've never seen that type of reaction from an actor. I think that we are legitimately dealing with a case of poltergeist activity. All right. I don't think it's tied to the house. I think it's tied to her, the mother. I think that she has dealt with a lot of stress, and you know, we talked about a lot about this in season 1, that she was under an incredible amount of stress. There was a lot of implied things that talked about how she didn't have money, she couldn't really go anywhere, she didn't have anybody. Those little things are factors that play into emotional and psychic stress. And when you deal with poltergeist activity, they feed off that negative stress. That's what gives them the energy. It seems like it got the worst when she was alone, because she was alone with her thoughts. And I feel like, you know, my interpretation of the evidence is she was there by herself. Her mind was spiraling. She was giving off this weird type of negative psychic energy that fed into whatever was in the house. I don't think that it was attached to the house. I think it was following her. And that's why she continued to have experiences after she left for Texas. Because once she was in Texas, she was still alone. But then once the investigator came and scooped her up, and she lived with the investigator for a little while, you know, you're not alone anymore. You know, initially that piece of stress is gone. We've all been alone before, and it's so much better when you're just with somebody.
Do you think it's an entity or her manifesting with PK?
It could be her manifesting with PK. So that is something we talked about in especially in season 1. PK manifestation was a big thing in the late 70s. We don't know why. Anna and I did a deep dive into it, and we thought that maybe it had something to do with in the late 70s, early 80s, there was the parent was always a little more violent than they were today when it came to raising their children. And the frustration would imprint on the children, and the children would manifest with subconscious PK, psychokinesis. And that's why cases like the Enfield case in the UK, where it may have started out with something legitimately paranormal, which could have been PK, because there was 2, you know, like preteen girls in the household, no father involved, and their manifestation of their stress with no father figure in their life could have easily manifested as something PK. And that's why we didn't say that the Enfield case was paranormal, because we don't think it was. It was the 2 girls making things up. And we think that at first it was PK. They couldn't figure out how to manifest it. So they just kind of let it along as they could. I'm not sure for an adult, subconscious PK could be a thing. There's not many cases that give us evidence to that. Usually we see something with a 12 or 13-year-old, usually a girl. There's some stressor in her life that causes PK to be present. And usually she doesn't know what's happening. But it doesn't seem like anything is really focused around her other child that we don't really see in the documentary. If it is PK, it's very unusual because it's focused around an adult at this point. I'm curious to see what the woman who owned the house is doing today, because that would give kind of an insight to what was really happening, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, and thinking in terms of the evidence too, right? Like with the baby having the mark on the head and us not really necessarily knowing who walked by the baby, what they could have done if they reached down to just touch the baby and they accidentally got something on the baby. As I look at all the evidence, I'm fully aware that there could be other explanations for just about everything. Like thinking about the man, being hung on the nail, right? How low was that ceiling? How was he moving? What was, around that he could have somehow slipped and somehow got stuck? And I realize that there are other arguments to the other side of that too, right? And then, of course, thinking about just the woman in general with how she's reacting. She's very stressed, and she feels like she has no way out. So obviously she's going to be scared. She has to think about not only her future, where she's sleeping tonight, but also her children. And so her reaction is very authentic, no matter what is actually happening, because there's a threat and she doesn't know how to create stability and safety for her children. So all of that being said, though, I mean, I do tend to just believe, and it's okay that other people believe differently, but that there's this line that we walk that's very fine, that there's another side to it. And then there are spirits and ghosts and the residual hauntings and all of that continue to occur because it's just energy. And I feel like that's something that continues to happen. And so I really feel like in this case, just personally, and you're going to be so excited because I am going to lean on paranormal for this one.
Fantastic. Because that's where I was leaning.
And our audience probably disagrees with us, but I think that, some of this comes from just personal belief systems too, and you have to kind of take your own perspective of it and and know that there's another side of an argument too, and that's okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think at this point we can say finally, since having Hazel as a host, we've got a case that is legitimately paranormal.
Worlds, I'll come back to the other side next week, okay?
So yeah, I think I agree. This is legitimately paranormal because PK is a factor. And we've seen this many times, right? We don't see PK as a factor in older people. And that's why I say I'd like to see what this woman is doing today, or how her life has been since this point. Essentially, she's been scrubbed from the internet. I can't find her. I can't find her anywhere. Like, I've even tried using like face match to her, using reverse imaging with her face.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine every time a potential employer Googles you and like this is...
Yeah, it's strange. You could go down a rabbit hole. Maybe she does have some type of psychokinesis, and now she's employed by the government. That's why she's been scrubbed from the internet. That's why her house disappeared. There's a bunch of different things, but
now we're driving right off the cliff here.
You're on board now. You're on board now, so it's too late.
No,
you've already
Mama,
said it's paranormal. But no, I think it's true. We're dealing with something legitimately paranormal that can't be explained. So yeah, we finally hit a case that is legitimately paranormal. Awesome. What a case. What an absolutely bizarre case. I don't know why after this many years, this has just suddenly come up and everybody's talking about it again. It just seems like the right time. I'm really, really hoping that YouTube doesn't ding me from using all this footage from this documentary, but if they do, it'll be okay.
Or your accidental, like, half a second of Spotify that played.
Yeah. Well, I'll find out here in the next couple days. So yeah, we came up with a great case this week. Awesome. I'm very pleased with how this turned out. I finally got you on board with the paranormal case.
You know what? You worked very hard on it, and you stayed up very late,
Yeah.
and you deserve a win.
Thank you.
And so there's your
Don't just give it to me because I stayed up late. But all right, folks. If you like what you saw here and you enjoy what you saw, or if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, we're everywhere. Give us a like, give us a review. It helps a lot. We're just trying to get this out. We would like more people to watch. We would like more people to be into the live stream like we are every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to pop into the stream, we're always here. I would love to sit here and just chat with people in the stream because that's what I love doing. That's why I stream the podcast, because I love interacting with people. Worlds, Blip. Hef was here for like 4 minutes, but still, Hef was here. Well, a bunch of people. Monty was here for a little while. We had 4 or 5 people from YouTube were watching. I know we just keep running later and later, but you know what? I don't care if you run for 4 hours because I love doing this. And if this is what it takes to build a community, I'm going to keep doing it.
Well, I certainly enjoy hanging out with you on a Sunday night.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm glad to have you involved. To be honest, it kind of bummed me out coming in here every Sunday evening and you just sitting in the bedroom, the next room over. And at least this way I can involve you. And now I don't have to spend the next 45 minutes explaining what I was talking about in the podcast.
It's lovely to have you, Hazel.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here. Thank you, Worlds. I appreciate it. It's so good to like meet all the people that Victus hangs out with and then meet new friends for me too.
Yeah.
So
we don't have social lives, so this is as close as it gets.
We really don't have social lives.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that we finally got a win. We got a win. We got an actual case that we believe is paranormal. So, before we get into the closing monologue.
Yeah, it's a good dynamic.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
So if anybody out there listening has a suggestion for a future episode or has their own personal paranormal tale or story, you're welcome to scan this lovely QR code up here. It'll give you a link to all of our social medias. Also down below, you can email us at beyondshadowspodcast@gmail.com. You're welcome to email us anything you want. Tell us how bad we are. Tell us how good we are. Tell us a paranormal tale, case, or claim. I would gladly read out your story on the podcast. And if enough people...
Especially if it's an email saying how bad we are.
Yeah, I'll read it. I don't care. One take, no edits. That's what we do. But if you want to email us, you can email us. The email's been below us this entire time. QR code in the corner, give you a link to all of our socials. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. We're going to get out of here after the closing monologue. I really need to use the bathroom. And
I'm sure our puppy does too.
The puppy's dying. So let's get into it. Let's wrap this thing up, everybody. So, if you find yourself in your home, alone at night, and you hear strange knocking sounds and noises coming from the attic, don't take your heavy-ass camera upstairs. But if you do, wrap the strap around your hand. It's real easy to do, and you won't drop it. All right? If you do, be careful. Document everything. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Because you never know what's waiting in the shadows. You never know what's in the attic, in the walls, on the porch next to your infant. But whatever you do, make sure you follow us.
Beyond the shadows.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Creature like that. How would it ever die?
And this monster starts running right at me.
Annihilated by nuclear bombs.
Beast is not dead. I put 4 bullets into him.
Oh, you're crazy.
But I saw that monster too. All I want is for someone to believe me.
Contaminated.
Face. Horrible. Looked like it would scare you to death.
All right, let's get to work.